Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Sorry if you can hear the car's engine rumbling in the background, but I only have a couple minutes. And there's something that I realize is that you have to strike when the iron is hot. My glasses are really dirty too. Yeah, at work I get stuff all over my glasses. Gotta strike when the iron's hot. I started thinking about something, while I was in a work location, and I realized that I could put it off and, actually write the stuff down or voice, make a little voice message to myself later on, or I could do it right now. And I knew it was just, it was in the forefront of my mind. I was thinking about it. I had made some connections, and I realized there was also that emotional connection that I knew if I went back to it later, I don't think I would have in its raw original form. As I was thinking about these things, and they really kind of, gave me a gut punch, and I was feeling the residual effects of the experience of the morning, and it wasn't any different than any other morning. And so I realized, what, I need to actually say this stuff now. So I was able to, the neat thing now is you can open up something like Chat GPT and just kind of store it there. Or you can use something like the notes in the iPhone and use a little attached paperclip, if anybody knows what that is anymore. Attach a file, record a voice memo that way, and get the transcriptions later on. Something where you can get the transcription. And I've been using ChatGPT lately and just using it as a holding place and having it make, bullet points for me, or can you reorganize this so it sounds more cogent, and then I'll edit it, to make it me again, all that sort of stuff. So I threw it in there, and, so I just took the 10 minutes or whatever it was to sit there and kind of not drive anywhere, just sort of, blurt out my thoughts, make those connections, talking to myself and recording that. And I'm glad I did, because I kind of looked it over and said, yeah, this is pretty good. And I would have not been able to do that to the same level of, authenticity, or it wouldn't have connected. I probably could have got it back up again, but when you make those connections and they're right there, yeah, I'll remember to get this at the store, and you don't. So when you've actually got these things there, when the iron's hot, when you've got the idea, whatever it is, the creative idea, there's been times where I've had something, I've picked up my bass, and I've got to play this right now. And if I'm really smart, I would say I've got to record this right now, even if I just use my phone, so I remember what this sounds like. Because a lot of times, if you're a musician, you come up with something and you play it, okay, this is really cool, and I'll remember that. Really? Maybe you will. So that's, bit of advice or wisdom or experience or whatever you want to call it, because I always regret it when I don't take the time to stop and document whatever great idea or whatever connection or whatever it happens to be. I'm even doing that right now for my therapist, when there's times when I really feel emotional, like I'm about to cry, and when things get me really upset. And she said, why don't you keep a log? So I've been keeping a log of that, when the events actually happen. And that's been really eye-opening, as I just, once again, dictate it into one of my phones, my work phone, or, which hopefully I have to erase that and put it in my regular phone, or this one. And I've caught a lot more of the patterns that I have, which really, it's disturbing, but it's interesting. So yeah, do the thing right then. I'll talk to you later, kids.